Pollution is a huge problem in Bikini Bottom. More importantly, a bigger problem in the real world. But Nickelodeon is brainwashing children to make them think it's all a big joke. I believe the show Spongebob Squarepants has a high correlation with climate change and global warming. The whole TV show may be revolving around global warming. This is the pollution theory. I just wanted to start off by letting you guys know that I'm proudly supporting the Team C's fundraiser by Mr. Beast. The whole reason this theory is being made is for educational purposes, so I'd greatly appreciate it if you guys shared this to your friends and family so you can help protect the earth from danger. Pollution is a huge global problem and it's time to act soon since data claims that by 2055, pollution can start killing humans. If you love beautiful natural plants and animals, please donate to Team C's. $1 equals 1 pound of trash taken out from the ocean. Now let's get on to the theory. Although Spongebob Squarepants brought many smiles to our faces, Nickelodeon showed us something that may address chaos. In June 20th, 2005, Nickelodeon released an educational SpongeBob Shorts episode called The Endless Summer. In this episode, SpongeBob walks into the Krusty Krab to see a carbon dioxide pump on the top of the building. Mr. Krabs claims that emitting CO2 into the environment would result in an endless summer, which means that Mr. Krabs would profit off his pool 24/7, 365 days a year. SpongeBob, being the loyal, naive employee that he is, wanted to help cause an endless summer by burning tires and other things which release harmful chemicals into the environment. But what he did not realize is that he was releasing carbon monoxide instead of carbon dioxide. If you don't know what carbon monoxide is, then in a nutshell, it is a colorless, man-made gas that can toxicate plants and animals. Carbon dioxide, on the other hand, is slightly less toxic and causes the greenhouse effect. If you don't know what it is, then let me explain. Bear with me since it's gonna get scientific. The CO2 emitted in the environment rises to the highest point of Earth because it's less dense than fresh air. The CO2 reaches the highest point possible on Earth until it cannot rise more. When the sunlight shines to the land, 70% is absorbed by the planet and 30% is reflected back. This CO2 builds a layer which prevents the 30% sunlight from reflecting back, which causes the planet to warm up. When the planet warms to a certain point, the ice on the poles melt, which eventually ends life. The disaster worsened to the point where all the citizens had to move up north.
We're all moving north. We can't live here anymore. It's too hot.
The episode was created to show children what global warming really is and the consequences of releasing CO2 into the environment. But despite it being educational, it drove a lot of controversy. I think the biggest reason is that they forgot to include how to prevent and fix global warming instead of telling us what causes it. In 2011, Fox News criticized Spongebob Squarepants for pushing a global warming agenda.
Well, we all know that SpongeBob is popular with the kids, and for the life of me, I still keep trying to figure out why. You know, my kids watch limited TV, but every time they choose that show, I'm like, why? Maybe that'll be a good thing, because SpongeBob is talking a lot about global warming, and he's only looking at it from one point of view.
SpongeBob, you're wasting me precious carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide?
I'm pumping it into the atmosphere, boy. Thanks to global warming, the temperature will soon go through the roof, and then we'll have an endless summer. So I can open my latest money-making venture, the Krusty Pool. Who turned up the heat? SpongeBob, what are you doing?
Just throwing another tire on the fire for global warming, Mr. Krabs.
Clearly, Nickelodeon is pushing a global warming agenda.
Okay, so basically the news reporters are talking about how the TV show is addressing that global warming is entirely man-made. But I'm not really sure why Fox News is doing this, but they may be onto something. The truth to all this is that global warming is both man-made and natural. If you don't believe that the Spongebob Squarepants TV show is all about pollution, then what I'm about to tell you will change your life forever. I believe that most of the main characters in Spongebob Squarepants are represented by oceanic pollution. Let's begin by looking at the main character himself. The ocean contains many unique creatures which include sea sponges, but SpongeBob is not a sea sponge, but rather a kitchen sponge. SpongeBob represents the waste and pollution, which means that SpongeBob's existence is releasing harmful chemicals into the environment. Okay, that is very sad. If you think I'm joking, then look at this. In many episodes, we see a running gag of a human hand interfering with the main characters. If you look at the SpongeBob theme song, the hand is everywhere.
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
In the episode The Suds, SpongeBob gets sick and goes to the hospital where the doctor gives him a treatment where a human hand grabs SpongeBob and starts using him to clean things.
This tickles. I can smell again. I feel as good as new.
Here's your lollipop.
SpongeBob is clearly not the son of Margaret and Harold. In the episode Truth or Square, SpongeBob remembered being in his mom's womb where he wanted to go to the Krusty Krab and try a Krabby Patty for the first time.
I don't know. This doesn't look like a family restaurant.
Would you like to eat here? What would you like?
Krabby Patty. Yummy.
But it makes no sense since the average person's earliest memories can be recalled at the age of 2. But in this clip, SpongeBob was not even born. Not to mention babies can't start talking until they're 2 to 3, and he is talking before birth. SpongeBob works for Mr. Krabs, who represents the large corporations that are responsible for the chaos caused by pollution. Mr. Krabs does not care about oceanic pollution because he's making money in the process, which is a greater priority for the crustacean. He classifies as greedy corporations that are too busy making money that they neglect the important elements of life. Patrick is a character that is unaware of his surroundings and so naive to the point where he doesn't give a fuck.
You know, Patrick, this is a dream. You can do anything you want.
Yep.
Patrick represents Western civilization, which includes the United States and Canada. He is fat, stupid, and lives under a rock, both literally and figuratively. This makes a lot of sense since Western countries do not care about global warming as much as other nations.
That guy got hit in the head with a coconut!
For the cherry on top, Western countries have higher obesity from eating processed foods.
Oh boy, 3 a.m.
Which results in fancy packaging being thrown into landfills where they release chemicals. Squidward is a cephalopod that is quite interested in art, music, and fame, which puts him as liberalism. Aside from Plankton, Squidward is the only person in Bikini Bottom who is against this corporation, aka the Krusty Krab.
Attention, people of Bikini Bottom! You have been cheated and lied to! The gentle laborer shall no longer suffer from the noxious greed of Mr. Krabs. We will dismantle oppression, even if it takes an eternity! With your support, we will send the hammer of the people's will crashing through the windows of Mr. Krabs!
He is forced to work for the greedy boss because nobody acknowledges his worth in society. Squidward is seen for being the ones who are against the corporations, environmental destruction, and ignorance. Sandy is the fish out of water. No, really, the fish out of water because without her technology, she cannot have a chance of surviving in Bikini Bottom.
Say, what is that thing on your head?
Well, that's my air helmet.
May I try it on?
Heck no, I need it to breathe. I gotta have my air.
She has high-tech equipment that allows her to live underwater, but such technology does not exist. Why? Because Sandy is from Texas. If you don't know, the symbolism behind Texas is violence and anger.
First, I'm gonna do this. Then, I'm gonna do this.
Sandy lives in a way in Bikini Bottom that only benefits her. I mean, she has a damn air dome and high-tech suit that allows her to breathe. This proves that many of the main characters in Spongebob Squarepants somehow resemble what's going on in the world today with pollution. The TV show is probably disguised as a story of pollution. I'm sure all of you guys know about SpongeBob's boating school conflicts, but if you still don't know, then SpongeBob has a huge problem where no matter how many times he takes his driving test, he always fails. Even though he's perfect in almost everything, he manages to never do good on all of his attempts. According to the episode Mrs. Puff, You're Fired, SpongeBob failed his driving test 1,258,056 times.
We've noticed there have been an unusually large amount of failings from this classroom.
Only one student has failed my class.
But he's failed 1,258,056 times. We cannot blame the students for the incompetence of the teacher.
SpongeBob, representing pollution, is constantly proven to be dangerous and fails his driving test. Yet nothing is done to really help him improve, like environmental standards, which are deteriorating over time. He goes through the same test over and over again just for Mrs. Puff to tell him to retake the test. He constantly reattends driving school but gets nowhere near the adequate level since his teacher doesn't know or care enough to improve him. Although Mrs. Puff does not want to deal with him, she still can't end this nightmare. Similarly, how the countries of the world cannot end this chaos even though they really want to. Therefore, SpongeBob Squarepants depict a never-ending cycle of failure that corresponds to how we are trying to end pollution. After watching a countless amount of SpongeBob episodes, I always wonder, what are those flower-looking things in the sky? A lot of you guys are gonna tell me that they are flowers or clouds, but I tell you that's bullshit. First of all, flowers don't float on water and look hollow. Second of all, please explain how they look like clouds. They look nothing like clouds. I believe that this is oil, and you may ask why, and it's because they are colorful. Oil has a unique property where it breaks down light much better than water. Take a look at these images before you change your mind. These flower clouds are actually oil pollution. The oil patterns are stretched out and distorted. Oil is lighter than water, which explains why flowers are on the surface of the water. The TV show might be implying that these flowers are caused by human activity, which makes a lot of sense since the United States has the largest oil consumption worldwide. Data supports that the United States dump 1.3 million gallons of oil into the oceans annually. It's no joke that the TV show SpongeBob Squarepants is famous for the unique design of Bikini Bottom. For instance, the houses and buildings look very similar to structures in dry land. Maybe because it's just a pile of junk thrown into the ocean.
It's beautiful. I'll take it.
Most of the structures in the TV show look man-made, like Squidward lives in an Easter Island statue, SpongeBob lives in a pineapple, and Mr. Krabs lives in an anchor. If that's not enough to prove it, then look at this. A lot of fish in Bikini Bottom live in a car muffler. Most of the public places are man-made objects. For example, the Bargain Mart is just a pirate chest, the Bikini Bottom High School is just a ship, and Sandy's home is just a tree dome. All these objects are not natural, which proves that Bikini Bottom is one of the most polluted places in the world. And that's the pollution theory. To summarize the theory, we talked about how SpongeBob episode The Endless Summer caused damage to the mind of youth, how a lot of the main characters in SpongeBob Squarepants represents pollution, how SpongeBob failing his driver's license represents pollution, Bikini Bottom, and the Bikini Bottom clouds. If you guys want to make a difference in the world, then please support the Team C's fundraiser. $1 equals 1 pound of trash out of the ocean. If you cannot donate, then please share this video to friends and family for more awareness. I really enjoyed making this theory and making it educational. This theory took a lot of effort, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sure everyone's gonna do their part to preserve the earth for a better future. With that being said, please check out my other theories where I uncovered the meaning behind a character and an episode. Thanks for watching the theory. Please like, comment, and subscribe to never miss another video. Another theory finally made. This one was a very long one. Also, I have a Patreon. Please click the link in the description if you want to support your boy and get more SpongeBob theories.